Hey everyone, Sparks back with another Goddess Victory Nikke video, and we finally have Mana's kit revealed. They really slow rolled us with this one. I don't know why this took so long, but nevertheless, let's go ahead and take a look at it. So, she is a burst 3 attacker, wind type with an assault rifle. We actually already knew this stuff from the update notes with in-game, but let's go ahead and take a look at her actual skills. Now, these better be good because there's a lot of competition for strong burst 3 attackers. Skill 1 is called Metal Gamma, and it has kind of a wall of text here. A lot of her skills are just like a little bit of a wall of text. It says activates at the start of the battle, affects self, and attack goes up by 58% continuously, activates once per battle. Okay, well, getting a big attack buff right away is great, and it's going to last for the entire battle. And then it says activates when Metal Gamma status after landing 10 normal attacks, affects all allies, recovers 2% of caster's final max HP. So she's also going to be healing all of your team, like basically all the time, every 10 attacks. That's really, really good. And then activates if the caster is in Metal Gamma status when an ally is out of action. Affects one incapacitated ally with the highest attack, except caster, obviously, as you'll see in a second. Resurrects with 96% of HP. And then activates when an ally is out of action, affects self, removes Metal Gamma. So she can only do this stuff once, basically. All the other stuff isn't really going to work, except for the healing. She will heal. It looks like that will keep going no matter what. Oh no, actually it looks like none of this stuff works. So after somebody goes down, then just like all of this stuff, it just doesn't activate. But if something, here's the thing about this. This is pretty cool because we have very few Nikkes that can actually revive other allies. In fact, as far as I know, it's only 2. You're going to have Rapunzel and you're going to have Winter Fairy Anne. Now, Rapunzel is definitely the best at reviving because every time she bursts, she can revive another ally whenever you need that to happen. And she also has insane heal to go along with her. The other one is Winter Anne, and she does a revive that's very, very similar to Mana's here. So she also revives an ally one time, and it is the ally with the highest attack. Now, I believe Winter Anne, if I remember correctly, is only an attacker, but kind of the same thing if you're going for ally with the highest attack anyway. So very, very similar ability here. Now that could come in clutch in arena fights, okay, which was kind of where Winter Anne was able to shine the most, aside from a brief period in time where she was actually a great support for Snow White as well. But the revive basically was just like a clutch thing in arena. The thing is, Mana's probably not really going to be an arena unit. Assault rifle isn't that great. She doesn't have other skills that really suit arena. And if an ally dies in a normal situation, your plan has kind of already gone wrong, right? So you're sort of like, counting on things messing up in order to utilize this skill. Now, again, with Rapunzel, it was a little bit different because you could keep reviving people. But again, this only happens once. Now, this could, in theory, come in clutch if you're like trying to push like hard mode campaign and you're like really low, like a low or high CP deficit rather. And, this could potentially help you there. But are you really going to be using her? We'll have to see if the rest of her skills are actually good enough. I want to say probably not. So again, this is cool, but very niche. And again, all this only works out one time. But now let's go ahead and take a look at her skill 2 here. And it is called Metal Sigma, and activates at the start of battle, affects self, Metal Sigma, burst gauge, filling speed goes up 70% continuously. Well, that's really cool. That means she's going to get way better burst fill than the average assault rifle. So love to see that. Activates when entering full burst under Metal Sigma status, affects self, attack damage goes up by 21% for 10 seconds. That's massive. Attack damage up by 21% for 10 seconds is super, super good. And attack goes up by 63% for 10 seconds. And then it removes the Metal Sigma status. So, okay, she gets all these buffs, but then she loses the status to be able to do those things. And then it says activates when entering full burst, affects one ally with the longest basic charge time. This is really interesting. charge time goes down by 0.18 seconds for 10 seconds. So the big competition here, as most people were, kind of speculating about before we even got her whole kit revealed, was would she be competition for Alice? Now, I think Alice is going to be a far better DPS on her own, but we are reducing charge time here. Now, keep in mind, this is going to calculate base charge time. So if you have like the charge speed cube on a unit or whatever, it's not going to factor in that. It's going to reduce that base charge time. Now, in theory, this could be a really good pairing for Black Shadow Scarlet in like wind weak units or wind weak enemies, because you're going to get double elemental bonus from wind units rather than using Alice. Will that be enough to make up for the pretty high damage that Alice does on her own? Who knows? We'll see. Alice is also the best like fast charger in the game. Now, Mana does get that burst fill speed upgrade. But I don't know. I'm a little skeptical of how useful she will actually be. But let's take a look at what her actual burst does. Cooldown is 40 seconds. That's standard. And then affects self sustained damage goes up 52% for 10 seconds. Affects one enemy with that is nearest to the crosshair, deals 396% of final attack. Final attack is always great. As sustained damage every 1 second for 10 turns. So that's great. So this is kind of similar to like Summer Sakura. She also does sustained damage, also another wind attacker. So kind of something interesting here. Maybe we could cook up a, like hyper powerful wind sustained damage team against Kraken in Anomaly Interception, because then you'd be, she'd be buffing both Black Shadow Scarlet, dealing decent damage on her own, and also doing the sustained damage thing like Summer Sakura as well. I don't know, maybe we're trying to get a little too cute with that and do too many effects that are similar there. We'll see, but I think that is a possibility. And she does have the potential to also just be like a great partner in raids with Black Shadow Scarlet. But my gut says that she's probably not going to replace Alice. If I had to guess here, I think Mana is probably a skippable unit for most people. I'll probably skip. I actually really like her character, so I might do a couple pulls for her just to see if I can get her. But we do have a lot of things coming, guys. We don't know what other insane powerful units are coming, and we know for a fact we do have the Ava Part 2 collab coming, as well as Stellar Blade at some point in the future, although that's probably quite far away. But I feel like Mana, I think it's Mana, is a unit that can probably be comfortably skipped for a lot of people, because she's basically a selfish attacker. All those buffs just buff herself. She does do some decent healing, but we have a lot of good healing options nowadays. And again, she can buff Black Shadow Scarlet, but I think Alice is going to be very good at that anyway. We can see which one is actually better, but I don't know. I feel like probably Alice is still worth using. And then keep in mind, that skill 1 only happens one time. Removing her metal effects isn't the greatest. So there could be also niche scenarios where she's really, really good in a really short battle, where there's also risk of dying, right? So again, where you're pushing a really high deficit CP in hard mode campaign, where you're just trying to finish the battle really quickly, deal a lot of damage. You're only going to burst one time, but you're at high risk of getting knocked out, and so one of your units goes down. And then you could be using Black Shadow Scarlet, who is very good for pushing hard mode campaign as well. So there is a possibility for use there. But I think for the average player, you're not going to be doing that much. I mean, not a lot of people really like to push those really, really hard stages until they're just strong enough to do it anyway. But we'll see. Let me know what your thoughts are on Mana. I love her design. I'm a fan of her character. She's really interesting in the story. So like I said, I probably will do at least a couple pulls just to see if I can get her. Not really a great use of resources, because if you do pull for a unit, generally you should be prepared to go all the way or just skip them at all. But or skip them completely, kind of one or the other. But we'll see. We'll see. Maybe I'll get lucky. And let me know if you're planning to pull for her, and if you have any other cool ideas to use Mana for, and what you think about my commentary on her. But yeah, good luck if you're planning to pull for her. I will catch you guys in the next video or stream.